One criticism that Formula One has faced for a long time now is the lack of competitiveness at the top. It is often the case that one team dominates the championship with the rest fighting it out for the other positions. Ever since the hybrid era, it has been Mercedes that held that mantle, but team principal Toto Wolff feels that it is not their fault that the field isn't any closer. I'm your host Dylan Shelley, and first up on Formula World, Mercedes not responsible for predictability of the championship. Wolff began by explaining that they still cannot take anything for granted despite being touted as the clear favourites for the 2020 title. If we would take the 2020 season for granted as a walk in the park, and it's basically just about picking up the trophy in Paris in December, we wouldn't have won these championships. He then reiterated that a single team dominating in F1 is not something new, but he does accept that it is something that isn't great for the championship. Dominance from a single team, whether it is us, whether it is Red Bull in the 2010 years, or whether it was Ferrari in the early 2000s, is something that is always a bit odd for the championship. He then pointed out that it's up to the chasing pack to close the gap. It is not up to the team that has made steps to be seen as responsible for the predictability of the championship. I would wish for nothing more than a strong competition with an unknown outcome every Friday we start FP1, but it's very difficult in our position to really change the pecking order at that stage. Wolff concluded by stating their objective for each new race, and their helplessness when it comes to improving the competitiveness of F1. We have one key objective, and it's about finishing every weekend to the best of our abilities, hopefully score many points and challenge for a championship. There is nothing else we can do. Fast feed. Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto has confirmed that it will take a long time. The problems with the technical concept of the SF1000 can't be solved within a few weeks. He further stressed that it's worse than they expected, there's nothing more to say about it. He also feels that Mugello is a very quick track, high-speed corners. It will be demanding for tyres on the cars and on the drivers. He also pointed out that there is a long straight, but there is just fast corners before the main straight, so it's quite interesting to see all the F1 cars of today going through there. His driver Sebastian Vettel has stated the Nürburgring, what a big surprise, still a Grand Prix in Germany this year. He further feels it will certainly be a challenge for the teams and for the drivers, and he added that he is already excited about what the weather will be like in October. Vettel also wants to see where the contracts end. He doesn't think that Lewis has a contract yet, but also doesn't think he intends to quit. It's wait and see and make the right choice for Vettel. He also thinks that under the right circumstances he can still perform and be as good as the rest. Former F1 driver Marcus Ericsson said the halo is of course good against big debris, but when it comes to small pieces, it's a lot less protective than the aero screen used in IndyCar. The promoter of the Brazilian Grand Prix has alleged that Liberty Media have thought of something to cancel the race. He pointed out things are going better in Sao Paulo than the rest of Brazil, and relatively speaking also better than in England, as the reasoning behind his allegations. Bruno Cavas, mayor of Sao Paulo, added to that by saying that they have developed a protocol for racing events and see no obstacles to organise the Grand Prix as long as it's without fans. He summed up his sentiments by simply stating the race at Interlagos could have gone ahead. Alfa Romeo's Kimi Raikkonen is confident that Ferrari will recover. It was a difficult start, but Ferrari has a strong team. Mercedes technical director James Allison has revealed that the sensor problem they had in the first Austrian race was really very frightening. He also added that it was a lot of work to understand where the cable was vibrating and why that cable broke as a result of that vibration, which gave the factory workers sleepless nights. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko has asked why does Mercedes show superiority so openly, while adding that Bernie Ecclestone would have slowed Red Bull down immediately had they shown such superior pace when they were dominant in the sport in the early 2010s. Williams' Nicholas Latifi has pointed out that unfortunately there will be no Canadian Grand Prix this year, but luckily he'll also be competing in Formula One next year, so he'll get an extra chance. And defending world champion Lewis Hamilton has revealed that he was recently met at the airport by a horde of fans and he got a lot of energy out of that short moment. If given the choice between the two, would you prefer the halo or the aero screen in F1? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula One.